right, students, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that last video on a tint touch-up. We're going to be doing now is we're going to be doing some more baby lights. I know I have shown you in the past a couple of different ways to do baby lights. Today we're actually going to do a pattern. Last time I believe we did it on the back, a little bit on the side. Today we're going to be actually going around the hairline with baby lights and then going in at a diagonal angle with the baby lights. And what does baby lights mean? Baby lights means little tiny sections of hair that will be colored. You have highlights, you have regular low lights, you have, there's so many variables of how you can do highlights. This is a baby light, meaning it's going to take small, thin sections, and you're going to go in and apply lightener. Now you can do this with regular color too. You don't have to just use a lightener. You can use color if you want to put low lights in with the baby light. There's a lot of ways that you can do this, but today I'm going to show you how to actually do a pattern. I'm going to be starting the pattern in the front area. If you can see, I've sectioned off my mannequin into one section like the bang area, and I've sectioned off the two sides. So what I'm doing is I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to go from side to side, and then I'll go into the interior this way, and then what you would do is you would go in and you could do the back. But today I'm just going to show you the front just so that you can practice how to do those baby lights. All right, so again, baby lights could be used anywhere. They work great with fine hair. They work okay with thicker hair, but you would have to do a lot of them in order to achieve the result that you're looking for. With your highlights, you know, you have your foils, you have your, what I call them, the hamburger, and then you have your hot dog, right? Hot dog bun, hamburger bun. So depending where I'm working on the hair is going to determine where I'm going to use my hot dog or where I'm going to use my hamburger. And the sides I'm going to do with my longer foil, and then in the front I'm going to use my wider foil. I've already mixed my color. I've chelated my mannequin. I've washed it. Her hair is in pretty good condition, so I just put a little bit of conditioner on the ends, but she's ready to go. I've also mixed my lightener. I'm using 10 volume. You do not need to use a high volume peroxide. You just take smaller sections, leave it on longer, and it'll give you almost the same effect. She doesn't want to go really light. She's probably like level 5 right now, and she wants to go to like an 8 or a 9. And then we're going to use a toner on that. And that'll be another class that we'll be doing when we complete this one. All right, students, so here we go. So I've sectioned out my mannequin. I'm going to start in the front. So I'm going to release my section. What you want to do is you want to remember that if I take my section and I kind of twirl it as I did for my tint touch-up, and then I kind of clip it all together, when I release it, it's not going to be very smooth. So whenever I'm doing a highlight or a balayage, I want to keep my sections as smooth as possible. And that's going to allow me to just keep a clean section on that hair. I'm going to start in the front, and I'm going to, these mannequins have very interesting hairlines, right? They come around like almost like a C shape. I'm going to go in and I'm going to just do a very fine section in through that front area. And you can see how it's automatically kicking back. And you know what, students? Sometimes clients are going to have interesting hairlines. You have to work with whatever is sitting in your chair, whether they have a really smooth hairline, if their hair grows back, if their hair grows sideways, you have to learn how to work with that. So because my mannequin's hair automatically kicks back, that's okay. I'm just going to pull that and use a little bit more tension. So I've dropped my front section. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and just kind of almost as if I'm sewing. I'm going to go in and out, very fine little weaves as I go through. Now there's a couple of different ways to do this. I find that this is the best, most efficient way. Some people, they'll go in and they'll take another section and then they'll separate that and then they'll come in and section again. I'm not going to do that. I find that I can come in literally on that top layer. If you think about this as like the frosting on a cake, just going to that very top, not going into the cake, and just going into that front top layer of that frosting and just picking up little tiny pieces of hair. And you can actually see how it kicking back is making it a little bit more difficult for me. So going in, small little pieces, coming back, and then I'm going to separate that hair that I've taken from the front. And you can actually see the little pieces of hair, how very fine it is. Now, you want to be careful because what I did was I made it thinner on this side and thicker on that side. Do you want to do that, students? You don't want to do that. You want to try to stay consistent unless you're specifically looking for a certain type of pattern. The other thing that you can do if you're having a hard time is very lightly mist it, comb it through, and then go in with the little baby lights. And then there you go. That's what you're looking for, right? Very thin, thin, thin sections. So here I'm working on the wider part of the head. I'm taking my thicker. I'm going to come in, and some of these are already folded for you. I'm going to come in, I'm going to fold it over, and then I'm going to lay the foil right on that part, and I'm going to bring that hair over, and I'm going to trap that hair onto my foil. And I'm going to come in, and I'm going to apply, and I want to feather it lightly as I get closer. And once I get it on, it's going to stay firm. I don't even need to hold it, right? See, it's almost like I've actually, I don't like to use this word, but I'm going to use it, glued the hair to the foil with my color. And now I can come in this way, making sure I do not move that foil too much and go in and complete my application. I'm going to fold this right in half. I don't want to crease it because that's going to thin out that hair color. And then I can come in. You want to take the hair off of the client's face, just kind of, you can put it sideways with your side hair. And then you can come in and fold that hair, or that foil, I'm sorry. And then you can actually, I always like to fold that front one because the clients, oftentimes when they're sitting in your chair, they want to read or they're on their phone or whatever it is. And that way it stays completely out of their eyes. Going into my next section, taking about a 1/4 of an inch section. I'm going to pull that down. Clip this hair out of the way. Again, it's kicking back on me, so I'm going to just mist it very lightly. Standing right in front, I'm going to come in and do my little baby lights. So it's a very fine stitch on that hair. And then bringing that out and separating. And you can literally see how small that is. This is a nice pattern to do if you want to do a very nice blend in, or maybe somebody who just wants a little bit of color on their hair, but they don't want a lot of color. You can do it for somebody has very fine hair. There's a lot of different ways that you can use this baby light. It's a very soft, natural look. Again, once I get that color on there, it's staying for me. Coming in, applying, and the thinner the hair, the better the lightness is going to be on the finished look, because if your hair sections are too thick, you're not going to get a good penetration. That's why using a 10 volume is going to work fine for me, because I'm taking such small sections and I'm going to process it for a period of time. I don't know, maybe 20, 30, 40 minutes. I'll be checking it periodically to see that it is to the desired lightness that I want it to be. So there you are. You always want to make your foils nice and neat as well. You don't want them all, it just looks really good and you have better control of it. So I'm going to come and I'm going to do maybe 4 more in through here. Again, very thin sections, maybe about a 1/4 inch. Come in and do your little baby lights. Very fine look. Separate. And if I see that it's not even, I'm just going to go back and resection it again. right? I'm going to take my section. I'm going to stitch it out very fine. So when you're actually doing the weave, you need to pay attention that it's consistently even all the way through. Because if it's not, then what's going to happen is that the hair is going to be lighter on one side and then darker on the other. So coming back, get that hair on that foil. Nice smooth application. Feather it out closer to the root area, bring in that hair. So on longer hair, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you come in and get those ends. I'm just kind of swirling them in just to make sure that they stay in that foil. But I'm also making sure that they're saturated really well. And then folding that foil again, and then folding it on the corner, and then the other corner. And then remember, always take that hair off of your client's face. It's very uncomfortable for the client to actually sit there with all this foil hanging in their face and this hair falling in their face. And then just separate that. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to come back and do this side, and then I'm going to come in and do the side.